Should you be buried in a Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is. Therefore, make her grave straight. The crowner has sat on her, and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be said, and then no, it cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself willingly, it argues an act. An act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, and to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, Goodman Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here lies the man. Good. If the man goes to this water and drown himself, it is, will he know me? He goes, mark you that. But if the water comes to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
I am Mary. It's Crowner's Quest law.
Will you have the truth on't? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of the Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves, more than they're ever Christian. Come, my spade, there is no ancient gentleman, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
I was the first that ever bore on.
Why, he had none.
Art thou a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam did. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
Is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame, outlives 1,000 tenants.
Thy wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those do ill. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. Truth again come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Mary, now I can tell. Mass, I cannot tell.
Thy brains no more about it, for your dull lass will not make his pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say a grave maker. The houses he makes last till doomsday. Now go get thee and fetch me a stoup of liquor. In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract all the time for me behalf. Oh, methought there was a nothing of me.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business as sings in grave making?
Custom hath made it in him for a property of easiness.
Again so, the hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
But age with his stealing steps hath clothed me within his clutch, and hath shook me into land, as if I never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and it could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground, as it were Cain's jawbone, that did the first murder! This might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now reaches. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
Might, my lord.
A courtier which could say, good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, good lord? This might be my lord, such a one that praised my lord, such a one's horse, when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Might, my lord.
Why, e'en so, and my lady worms chapless, and knocked about the mazard, with a sexton's spade, he is fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost more the breeding but to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on it.
A pickaxe and a spade for an, a shrouding sheet. Oh, pit a day for it to be made, for such a guest as to meet.
There's another. Why, may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities, now his quilities, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in his time a great buyer of land, with his statues, his reckonances, his fines, his double vouchers, his fine pate full of fine dirt. Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will scarcely lie in this box. And must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and of calf skins too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. What puts a clay for to be made for such a guess as means?
I think it be thine, indeed, for thou liest in
On it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and say it thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick, therefore thou liest.
Lie, sir. Toil away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is! We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord Horatio, this 3 years I have took note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near that the heel of the courtier he galls his kibe. How long hast thou been gravemaker?
The days out of year, I came to the day our last king Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Aye, marry, why was he sent into England?
Why, because I was mad. I shall recover his wits there. Or if do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, and with losing his wits.
Upon what grounds?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lieth the earth or he rot?
Faith, if I be not rotten before I die, as we have many pocky corpses nowadays, that will scarce hold the laying in, I will last you some 8 or 9 years. A tanner will last you 9 years.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tan with his trade that I will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your horse and dead body. Here is a score now hath lying me. I lay earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A horse in that fellow was. Who do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. I poured a flagon of rennet on my head once. This same skull was Sir Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
I ain't that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath bore me on his back 1,000 times, and now, aboard in my imagination, it is. Oh, my gorge rises as it. He hung those lips that I have kissed. I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite, chop-felon, now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick to his favour. She must come, make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked Art this fashion of the earth,
E'en so.
and smelt so? Pah!
E'en so, my lord.
Okay, I don't know. To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander to find it a stopping a bunghole?
To what to consider, too curiously to consider so.
No faith, not a job, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it. As thus Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returned to dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam. And why of the loam whereto he was converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a halt to keep the wind away. Oh, that the earth which kept the world in awe should a patch, a wall, spell the winter's flaw. Soft, but soft. Fiend.